Hello everyone and welcome to Lions Lineup. I'm Victoria Falcone. I'm joined here today with Joe Caputo and Alex Suter. Joe will talk about our first topic, what happens to be basketball for today's show.
The NBA playoffs will begin at this week's end, and while there are multiple teams considered to be in contention in the Western Conference, many people believe the Heat will once again have a cakewalk to the finals out of the East. While many people will spend the upcoming week talking about who will have the best chance to beat the Heat in the playoffs, I am out to prove why the Heat are single-handedly ruining the NBA, at least for the time they remain assembled. Although it may be fun for some of the Eastern Conference fans to hold out hope that they may be the team that takes down Miami, the majority of playoff fans in any sport should not have to only hope for a miracle to cling to. What makes professional and college sports so great is the aspect of unpredictability. And to quote an overused phrase in the NBA, the playoffs are where amazing happens. Well, yes, LeBron may be amazing, but what last year's NBA Finals showed us is that, at least for the time being, unpredictability is gone from the NBA, and unfortunately, the Heat will more than likely win their second straight title without a problem. Zook.
Joe, I can't agree with you more. And
Thank you.
I know you're a Nets fan, and
Yep.
I have a lot of Sixers fan friends, and all of them are always like, oh, well, our team may be well this year. You know, we got this new guy. We played well last night. We won. And I say to them, you know what? You're wasting your time.
Exactly.
Because you're not going to beat the Heat.
Exactly.
There's no way anybody in the Eastern Conference, other than maybe the Knicks, can beat the Heat in a 7-game series.
The fact that you're saying that maybe the 2 seed could beat the 1 seed is just
but
absolutely
it's a maybe.
ridiculous.
Like, if you were to put a percentage to it, it would probably be 20%.
Exactly.
Tops.
And they're the 2 seed. I mean, you look at other leagues. You look at the NHL. 8 seed won the title last year.
That's what I love about
You look at the
NHL.
NFL. A 4 seed won the title this year. In college basketball, anything could have another overall 1 seed ended up winning, but anything there was 15 seeds beating 2s in the NCAA tournament. I mean, the fact that the NBA right now, and I'm not here to propose a change, because I don't really know how you could control this whole situation that's going on.
Well, you have a salary cap, but the players take pay cuts.
Well, I know,
So,
yeah, and that's the problem, and that's the issue of why it's hard for the NBA to control it. But the NBA is a league where one individual player makes a much bigger difference than any other sport in the world, really. I mean, one player could change a game in the NBA. The fact that the Heat have 3 of the top 20 is just ridiculous. Now, you can make the argument that says the Yankees kind of buy their championships. But how much could you really buy a baseball championship? As we've seen these last 10 years, the Yankees have won what? 1?
Absolutely. And we've seen other teams like the Dodgers make a lot of signings and spend a lot of money, and they still haven't had success.
Exactly. The problem, what I'm proposing is just for the NBA to realize that there's a problem. That's the first step in change, is to take responsibility. And then after that, you could explore different options. But I think it's so discouraging for, a team like the Knicks, a team like the Nets, teams like the Pacers. Yeah, they maybe have a shot to make the Eastern Conference Finals, but they're not going to win.
How can you be a diehard fan of these teams if you know that the end result is going to be a loss?
Exactly.
It ruins, for me, like, I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm rooting for the Knicks, and I think they have a small chance to beat the Heat, but I'm still not as excited as I am for the New York Rangers playoffs, because I know the Rangers could win the Stanley Cup.
And I know that you're a bigger hockey fan anyway, but
still.
I don't think that plays into it as much. Just the fact that,
of course not.
I mean, even you look at last year, you can make the argument the Celtics had a chance to beat the Heat, the Pacers had a chance, but Chris Bosh wasn't there. So when Chris Bosh came back, and then you look at what they did to the Thunder in the finals. I mean, it was domination.
It wasn't even, and that's the thing. It's not even exciting for a casual fan to watch it as well if you know the one team's going to win. And they dominated the finals last year. It wasn't even close.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have for that segment. We need to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Now, Alec will talk about our next topic, which is the Yankees.
Thanks so much, Victoria. After 2 weeks of baseball under their belts, the Yankees went from a 1-4 start to winning 6 of their next 7 games and are now only 1.5 games out of first place in the AL East. Yes, I know it's way too early to make any conclusive judgments with the baseball season being so long, but the Yankee offense has looked good so far this year, even without the bats of Teixeira, Granderson, A-Rod, and of course Derek Jeter. And the pitching staff has also been resilient. Joe, do you think that this team can continue to be successful even without some of these key bats? And in the end, do you think they have a shot to win the World Series?
I do. I sat up here 2 weeks ago, and I tried to tell Matt Merton and Joe Vasile that I was not worried about this year for the Yankees.
You must have been worried a little bit, though. Come on.
They laughed at me. I said I was excited.
You must have been worried after the 1-4 start.
Well, Well, the problem with the 1-4 start was really not the offense. It was the fact that the pitching staff wasn't doing well.
It was the exact opposite of what you would have thought.
And the fact that their pitching staff is now starting to come along, and I was confident in the pitching staff, minus Phil Hughes, which we'll get to in a second. But the way Vernon Wells and Travis Hafner are playing is, I don't know if they can keep it up. But the fact that, you're going to have reinforcements coming in throughout the season, which is what's going to help them. Mark Teixeira is coming back in May. Jeter, you don't know when he's coming back, but you're hoping before June. Granderson's on track for May too,
Even
and then A-Rod down the road may come back too.
He's going to add to the team.
You look at seasons past. These guys are getting old. They need days off. Well, they're getting all their days off up front now. So once they come back, they're going to be refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready for a deep run. I think into the postseason.
Here's the thing. I hear you. I'm excited with how the team's playing right now, but I still don't think that the makeup of this team has what it takes to win a World Series. Because even with all their offensive success, there's still too much. They're relying on the home run, and
they're relying on the home run this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Vernon Wells, how many home runs does he have?
3.
Hafner's got 3. Overbay has a home run. Cano's got.
But
they still rely on the home
game. What? When comparing watching games this year to last year, you look at runner on third, 1 out. Last year, what do? They strike out. They hit an infield pop-up. But this year, Eduardo Nunez is hitting a sac fly.
It is a small sample size, though.
I understand that. But the situational hitting has been so much better for the Yankees this year.
It's because they got Nick Swisher off the team.
Well,
right?
that's for one, yes. But also because A-Rod's not playing. There's multiple different factors that are factoring in here as to why the Yankees are hitting better with runners in scoring position. And, they got one of the clutchest hitters in baseball, Francisco Cervelli, catching too. So
well, that's, we'll have more time to talk about that some other show because, I could go all day talking about Francisco Cervelli. But I still feel like that this team will be able to compete for the division and it will have a shot to win the World Series. But I just don't see them beating teams like Detroit, teams like L.A. in the playoffs. To me, they just don't have that makeup and that a lot of people say a clutch gene. Not a lot of our players have a clutch gene.
Well, you don't know that though. You don't because the team last year didn't have a clutch gene.
No,
the team this year may.
But it's pretty much the same team.
All right, guys.
It's too early to say.
It's pretty much the same. Isn't it, Victoria? Come on.
Obviously. Okay, we're going to move on to our last topic, which is Alec discussing the NFL.
Okay, all right. Well, I know it's April, but let's talk some NFL. A few weeks ago, the Denver Broncos signed Wes Welker, Tom Brady's favorite receiver for the past several years, to a 2-year contract. In response, the Patriots agreed to terms with Danny Amendola, an up-and-coming wide receiver from St. Louis who has a very similar style of receiving to Wes Welker. Joe, 2 questions. Which team won in this free agent battle, and which of these 2 teams would you say has a better shot of winning the AFC?
Well, are you kidding with the first question?
A little bit.
Okay, because it's not even close. Wes Welker, taking injuries aside, which has also been a huge problem for Amendola over the years, but Wes Welker is...
Wait. Amendola's only been in the league for 2 or 3 years.
But he's gotten hurt pretty much. No, he's gotten hurt multiple years.
Really?
Well, not to the extent that he got hurt.
Okay, he missed the game. But he gets banged up. Welker got hurt too a few years ago.
He did, but that was a freak thing.
Couldn't you say this year was a freak thing with Amendola, though? This guy,
maybe,
he's
but
younger.
He's not a star.
Hold on. I'm going to make the argument for Amendola right now.
Okay, go ahead.
He's younger. He's got more upside. He's faster than Wes Welker. And you know what? As much as I loved Wes Welker as a Patriot, he dropped so many passes in the playoffs. And I know there's a stat. I think he actually led the league or was like 2nd or 3rd in the league last year and dropped passes. So this guy, one reason why he gets a lot of his stats is because states just throw it to him so many times.
But you also have to remember where he's running his routes. He's always in between the hash marks. Linebackers are lining him up to get big hits on him.
Yes, but you know what?
Would you be able to hold on to all those balls?
It doesn't matter. If you're wide open on 3rd and 10 in the playoff game, up 13-7 against the Super Bowl champions,
and we know you're bitter about this.
You got to make that catch. Same thing in the Super Bowl against the Giants. You have to make that catch.
I know
hits you in the hands. You got to catch it.
Okay, but is he a number 1 receiver? For an AFC contending team. Is he a number 1 receiver? And now you have Aaron Hernandez that just got hurt. He got shoulder surgery. I think it's clear that Denver won this.
Do you think they're better than the Patriots?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
You think that team is a better team than the Patriots?
Yes. I think defensively, it's not a question.
Even though I think the Broncos defense, they gave up the touchdown with 80 yards to go.
Okay, but the Patriots lost to the Ravens too, and they got blown out.
Doesn't matter. Though.
So I think that the only place where the Patriots really have an advantage is at quarterback.
And isn't that the most important position?
It is, but it's not the only
guy
position.
Who won 3 rings. He leads all-time quarterbacks in postseason wins, and he
Peyton Manning is
for an MVP.
Peyton Manning is going to
Peyton
have.
Manning, the guy that can't throw it more than what, 40 miles an hour?
Well,
Come on, man, give me a break.
he's got
Hey,
another.
I guarantee. I would put some money down. Patriots have a better record than the Broncos. This year.
I'm not interested in record. I'm interested in end result.
So you're going with Peyton Manning in the playoffs? What is he? He's what, 9-11 in the playoffs?
I would be willing to bet you. I would be willing to bet you that the Denver Broncos make the Super Bowl. If you take the Patriots, I'll take the Broncos.
All right, we got a bet.
We got a bet,
man.
Okay,
we're not going to disclose the financial bet, but we do have a bet, folks. Right?
Okay, ending with that, we're all out of time, so that does it for this edition of Lions Lineup. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and if you would like to be a part of Lions Lineup or work for LTV, email our account at ltv@tcnj.edu. For Joe Caputo, Alex Zucker, and all of us here at LTV, I'm Victoria Falcone. We'll see you next time.